Welcome, 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 everyone, to another adventure into reality. 1 second here. I forgot to close my drape, do my basic radio etiquette. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Today is going to be an open call-in show. Right now, Robert is going to put up some information on the screen. If you are listening to us via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or anywhere else and want to be a part of the room, where we select callers from, where we will have people that are giving questions inside the chat and answering through there. This is our interactive Thursday. Yes, there is an election. Yes, it is as gone as it says. And we now have 77 more days of confusion. All the more for you to pick up a daily practice and a daily bliss again and to begin to allow yourself to experience the mystical. With that being said, so if you want to be a caller, all the information is on the screen. Okay? So if you want to be a caller, somebody has to mute. There, you've got to mute. So make sure all of your video is disabled and your mute is on. Robert will be giving you instructions. Basically, a little screen will pop up in front of you and says, host is asking you to unmute, and then you must click unmute. If you are calling in via a phone or a device, it might be slightly different than that. We ask that if your hand is up, you must be next to your phone, please, or your device. Do not walk away from it. We have a lot of people that they get their chance, and we only used to give 3 strikes. Now it's 2 strikes. So be next to your phone and make sure your computer is off. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who we got to have a conversation with today.
All righty. Can you hear me? I didn't even check my microphone.
I can hear you. Yes.
It's only on the other side of my desk. There we go. All righty. Let some people in the room. And Bipolar Bear.
Bipolar Bear. We haven't heard from you in a while. Are you there? Going once. Bipolar Bear. Twice. Next.
Are you there?
Oh my God, you made it 1.5 seconds late. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Seneca, South Carolina.
Seneca, South Carolina. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I can't believe I actually got on.
Yeah, it's been a little while. So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for all the work you do. I've took a lot of your contract revocations and done a lot of creative things with it and seen a lot of really interesting results from that. For instance, like I put some of them in my in little vials that I put crystals with, and some ashes from some fire ceremonies I had done your revocations with, and I put them in the 4 corners of my property. And I had someone on my property that I feel very certain had like a negative entity on them. And as soon as I did that, it stopped coming in my house. That was so the land really responded to that.
Wonderful. When you have that kind of response, that's the land and you in alignment.
Yes. And so I do a lot of things with the land now, listening to you as far as, we will do sacred baths. We use water because it's working really good for us. So we'll go out and spray it and give it as like an offering to the land. And
wonderful.
Crystals that we found a really amazing stash of crystals, like really cool crystal points and stuff, quartz, and we give those as gifts to the spirits on the land and stuff like that. So you
really want to make a huge difference in the land. Learn how to create life in different sections of the land. Example, a nursery that gets seeds, a seedling starting is a life creating place. A garden is a similar thing. Fish that are self-breeding do projects with magic behind them in different parts of the land, and you will get the land to respond to you 100-fold back in messages of balance for yourself.
Okay. I definitely
So,
will.
you know,
I'll work on a garden.
you could, you know, work on a garden. You can have an outdoor fish tank, or make an indoor small pond, and the goal is to keep the fish alive. That's a living environment. Okay.
Would creating something like a spirulina in a tank, something like that, would that be appropriate for what you're talking
So
about?
you can do that, and people have done that and experimented with it, and were able to get the spirulina to show that it had some form of cognitive ability.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, and there are many other things that you could use beyond spirulina. You know, the ideas are endless.
Okay.
You could do an alcohol. Alcohol's just as alive, a mash.
We were doing that. We were doing that and spraying that around the property some and using it to
Okay.
like seed things. So you think alcohol would be a good idea for what you're talking about?
Are you
Better-
handy?
better
Are
idea.
you handy on your own?
As far as
You know, cutting something, attaching a little pipe or something.
I can be, I can do whatever I need to
So
do.
go on YouTube and look for a home still kit. They're
Okay.
about $20. You basically take a pressure cooker and you unscrew the top of the valve on it, and you attach it to another copper tube to it, which takes it to the thumper or the drain or the thing that spins the essence around it and extracts it from gas to liquid.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then
I
that
heard
goes
you
to
talking
the
about that
maker.
yesterday, actually. Sorry.
So you can do that right on your stove and brew gallons at a time.
Okay.
And
So that
you're
would
not,
be appropriate
right.
for what you're talking about.
Right. You're not intending to drink it. So you have many different stages. So when you're cooking the mash, it is when it's in its raw, animalistic, alive energy. And the more you imprint it on it while you're cooking your mash, the more it will refine intelligence back to you, and it's as its refined product evolves as an age.
Okay. Sounds good.
So
I'll work
this
with
is
that. I have
the mash, depending on like ideas, like let's say you want to make one mash that you're going to put all the energy of entity defense into it, and
Okay.
you're going to give it, like, because the mash could take hours and sometimes days depending on how much you're making. Like if
Mhm.
you're making many gallons, you need a lot more mash, and you got to cook it for a lot longer time, and then maintaining the fire for it, so on. All that creates a living entity in the alcohol. Okay.
Mhm.
Which that will be trained to gain an energy body and defend a space. This is why you would bury bottles. That's why so many of the French towns, they put all the wine underground, because it was a massive energy system also.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
you can
bury the bottles when you're done into the land.
like into the different parts of the land that you want to change. Yeah. Can
Okay,
you
cool.
just pour it out? Yes, but the bottle becomes part of the greater container of the energy. So
Okay.
it keeps it there. So that's one, and you can use bottles like sentries, warning sentries, and just keep moving them around the property as they get older and older and older. Eventually
sounds good.
they'll turn to vinegar, because they're going through all the temperature changes. But that vinegar is something that's usable as a powerful land cleansing situation. Let's say, you know, somebody's in some really negative entity energy, you can instantly put that vinegar into some water and spray it over them, and have a powerful energy-based acidic working on the entity.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. I have a hubby who's very much into creating things like that. So he'll love doing it.
And they even sell stills you can buy online for $200. They're complete and everything. So it's all about what you want to invent. You $20 at Walmart, you can get yourself going, and you know, it's a bag of sugar and the yeast, and then what you're going to cook and how you're going to bottle it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll definitely play with that.
You put your prayers into in the mash stage, and then when it's in the distilling stage, here is where, if you're going to distill it once, twice, or three times, meaning you keep refining more of the crazy essence or chaotic essence, and refining the essence deeper and deeper. And this is where you give it more programming. Think of it like when you're programming water, except you're programming water on that has built-in calories with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I took a lot of your soul contract revocations and
Yep.
shrunk them down really tiny
Okay.
and put them on bottles and under bottles and intend that impress into alcohol and things like that we've made in the past. Is that working as far as prayers go in the way that you're suggesting?
It's a good setup, but you're going to want to do more.
Okay.
So we'll just say if you were to just use the shrunken contract revocations on every bottle in place, maybe that would be a 50% effort. Okay.
Right.
Okay. The next level is your actual out loud words, hours spent during the mashing phase, hours spent during the distilling phase too.
Okay.
So
yeah, I try to make things quicker and easier. Like we do Reiki.
No. You see, the thing is, that's very smart. But when you combine what you just described with the prayers, you amplify those little papers even more.
Right. Okay.
So it's all understanding about stacking your wisdom and your will to express no to this area. And the more unique ways that you add an imprint to it, the stronger it becomes.
Okay.
So figure out how to do 3 hours of prayer during the mash phase and 3 hours of prayer during the brew phase. That means all the bottles will have 6 hours of attention into them.
Definitely can do that. Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I am well, okay. I'm not sure what's coming, down the line. And, forced vaccines have been a concern. And I'm always looking for the way around these things. So I know that a lot of them have really bad stuff in them. I know you say they're not all bad, but I know at least right now they don't have, you said stay away from the first rounds of the coronavirus vaccine. So I am trying to come up with something, like for instance, I wrote out like kind of a soul contract revocation myself that had to do with food and how GMOs and vaccines and things would interact with my body, and wrote it and shrunk it down and put it in a pendant, and then did another soul contract revocation to say that represented the area around my body, so many feet or whatever around my body. Is that sufficient for things of this nature, poisoning, that comes to our food, water?
So when it comes to stuff that are our background stuff like food and water every day, there has to be a longer term repetition other than once behind it.
Right. I do a quick Reiki over everything I eat.
Quick doesn't count.
Needs to be longer.
No, It needs to be centered in the space where you're actually making a difference and not rushing yourself.
Okay.
If you're rushing yourself, you're not in the space doing it correctly.
Okay.
That's why most people should never pray over their food, because they're just rushing it and enforcing bad behavior. And yes, I'm going to tell everyone that if you don't have the actual energy to center yourself before a meal, then don't do it. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
Don't do it. You're never going to learn. Your body's already programmed to treat food away. You can do the prayer afterwards. You can do the prayer before. It's all about understanding the space in which you're in.
Okay.
And then not having fear for everything. Not all food's poisonous.
True. It's not that I'm really running around with fear. I'm just trying to more solidify my reality around me.
Solidify your reality with ritual and ceremony.
I do that. I do that a lot with water.
A change. Start with clay. Go buy 5-10 pounds of clay, keep it nice and moist in the background, and start making objects of power and prayer that you can move around the house and the property and act as sentinels, or act as information sources, or act as just joyful energy that's coming out of an area to counter whatever negative frequency, or just to have the joy in the air.
Okay. Can do that. I heard you the other day talking about making an altar to the ancestors. I was considering doing that.
Well, an altar is first thing first has a lot of responsibility behind it. It cannot be something that you use intermittently and flippantly. If you're going to
Mhm.
have one, that means you're dedicated into doing it. Because when you start to miss days and disrespect it on a regular basis, it begins to turn itself off and a lot of times goes into a completely neutral energy. And then you come back to it expecting it to have a positive energy and it doesn't. And it's going
Okay.
to reflect back to the things you don't want to hear. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you have to be ready for the responsibility. And then if you set up an altar and you don't like it, take it down right away.
Okay.
Okay.
So as ooh, okay. Should I finish that or do you want me to let
Yeah,
you
go ahead with your last question there.
Okay, so as far as um uh, uh, the best advice from you for protection for your body to help your body deal with things that are coming that you
You're
deal with
still
every day.
talking. You listen. You're talking fear still, and you're just not acknowledging it.
So just completely don't worry about it.
You have an
Get out of
expectation.
it.
You have an expectation of fear, which is a double negative into you.
Okay.
Okay. You can't allow expectation to rule you in any way, shape, or form. Just by breaking that out of your life, you're going to have so much more energy to spend on yourself. There's no more you can prepare other than preparing yourself. The mental force, the mental fortitude and toughness it takes to be a person that can thrive in this world.
Okay.
Okay. All right, darling.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot for calling in.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, Robert. Let's spin.
Bye.
Let's spin up. Yeah, bye bye. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Alrighty, next person is Iman.
Iman, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Virginia.
Virginia. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
My first question involves psychedelics, and I was concerned if, after I did enough spiritual work, did you think that psychedelics could be a part of my lifetime, more specifically like ayahuasca?
Have you done them before?
Yes, I did them one time. However, that was a year ago, and I never did them ever again.
Why?
Basically because I was dealing with a certain problem at the time, and I'm still dealing with right now.
And you're not ready for psychedelics. You have a lot more inner work to do on if you're ready to allow psychics to truly reveal parts of your greater self. You're just in for a lot of getting beat up. And ultimately, there are parts of yourself that you have to directly face and challenge and begin to make pilgrimages to inner parts of yourself and overwhelm the sides that are looking for the instant gratification, get it done now mode. It's a very long-term journey ahead of you, and you can't have these short-term goals that I think are fix-alls.
Makes sense.
Okay? Master you, and then when you are ready, those will be waiting. Let me tell you something. I see more people go and do medicine journeys and get fucked up than does good for it at a lot of times, because there are a lot of people that are not ready for what medicine has to tell them. You can't get away from your own bullshit in those psychedelic spaces. Your inner hustler's got no power to convince people of a different truth.
Thank you for your information.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm currently 20, about to turn 21 21 in January.
What are you doing for school?
I'm currently studying graphic design I'm currently studying graphic.
Okay, you're studying graphic design. Is that something you've wanted to do for a while?
Yes.
Okay. What else? What other things do you want to do?
Create comic books as well as like do certain YouTube videos.
Do you have the actual like video editing and animation skills?
Yes.
So have you done any?
Yes, I have done some.
So what's stopping the greater you?
I'd say more so that I'm dedicating my time to school right now, and my family wants me to focus on school.
So you're in a direct conflict of what you truly want to do inside yourself versus duty to the family.
Yes.
Okay. And at times, duty to the family is one of those things that one must suck it up and do. But you can still go and do your other alternate video stuff. Just don't have short-term goals that are going to lead you down a path that doesn't see the bigger picture. Right now, you just need one video or 5 videos to start putting out there and doing something with, or starting your own comic book cartoon, okay? And do all the drawing yourself. You can go into business for yourself, open a limited liability company and call it Amon Inc. Okay. Come on. Okay. Or you're the unlimited limited liability corporation. And that's your creative space to work in. You need to give yourself reasons other than family and tradition to engage this higher frequency side of yourself that wants to do these things, but ultimately is looking for the shortcut answers versus having to go and master the skills. Unless you were brought up praying 6 hours a day from the age 2 or 3 years old, that's what it takes to enter the higher forms of spirit world. An intimate relation with it, a verbal relationship with it, and an inner dialogue relationship with it. Those are the fundamentals and basics before you get access to the other layers and skill sets of wisdom and awareness. And there's many shortcut ways that will show you this form or that form, but ultimately they won't play out in the end. Skills will be mutated and much less than they can actually do, and oftentimes lead you down incorrect pathways. What kind of subject matter would you do your cartoon, your comic book with?
It would basically be like an action. It would basically be like an action secret agent sort of thing.
Okay. Why don't you come up with a small storyline of what's happening in behind the scenes politics right now? So it doesn't have anything to do with real politics. You can make up all those secret agents and the good guys and the bad guys and make a story theme for it. You can take a lot of the information that had been in other videos that I've made. The Hollow Earth people come and do this. You have a great storyline. Okay.
Thanks for some of the ideas, Bartzis.
You're welcome. It's all about here to inspire you to the next level and for you to accept your power. And accepting your power long term and not short term. Did you have any other questions you want to ask?
Yes, and it was related to one of the problems that I've been having.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically, one of the problems that I've been having involves these voices that are very rude to me and also come in the form of 4 people that I knew from high school. I don't know what's causing these voices, and this problem can also, and what's also causing these voices can also like move my body around and like make me do rude gestures to myself and take some control away from my body.
What kind of rude gestures?
Basically, like pointing to places and like gesturing around like my ass.
Are you sure you don't have Tourette's syndrome? Do you know what Tourette's is?
No.
I would highly recommend you go and look up Tourette's syndrome. It's where you have sudden body movements that can seem offensive. A lot of times, advanced Tourette's people actually swear. Like they open every conversation with a litany of swear words. You're self-diagnosing too much, man. When's the last time you've actually been to a doctor?
Today, actually,
And before that?
and last week,
Okay, what for?
schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm. You ready to take control of it?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, that requires you to stop empowering all the other subject matters, voices, datas, and situations that you're in. It means you absolutely have to eat correctly every day because you don't realize how much you control your food and put yourself into a starvation situation. Okay, are you on meds?
Yes, I am.
How long you been on them for?
I've been on them for about 2 years now.
Okay, there's no way for you to go off of them in any short period of time because you'll go through heavy withdrawals. So get that out of your head. You're getting off the meds, period. And the next thing is anyone that's on any kind of antipsychotic meds, do not do psychedelics within 5 years of you doing your antipsychotic meds. That includes Zoloft and all those other ones too, any of the antidepressant meds. You'll have disastrous experiences. Okay? So psychedelics are not for you. Okay? You already have a schizophrenic disorder. You don't need another dissociative order to put you in a place you can never get back from. Okay. Have you done the contract revocations in front of my webpage?
Yes, I have, and they were ineffective against dealing with the voices. I also
they were ineffective because you're not really inside your body. You've learned for so long to not be in your body that you're remote controlling your body right now, and you got to start getting into your body and feeling. You're so disassociated from your body. I can only just say you need to get some body work to put your ass in the body. You need to start doing some physical exercise. That's why they don't have effective, because you're not there. You're not really doing them. You're not even going to program to them. And this is an issue with a lot of schizophrenics. They've so disassociated themselves so much from their body, they can't get in. That's your ongoing challenge from life, getting in your body and staying in your body. There's no external source that can overwhelm you. And once you're in an embodied state, you'll be able to do a lot more with it. That's why you feel helpless and powerless now. What kind of physical exercise do you do?
I used to do a lot of like exercise in the gym and run a lot.
And how long ago was that you stopped?
Basically, I stopped around the time that I got these voices.
Right, 3 years ago. Okay. So you don't even have that outlet. So physical exercise, athleticism, very important for you. So you can start getting dopamine releases on a regular level, and that will help you be in your body even more. Do you know what triathlons are?
Triathlons?
Triathlons.
No.
You bike 30 miles, swim 12 miles, hike uphill 20 miles, all in the same day. And some of them are longer. So biking, swimming, climbing, or biking, swimming, running. Okay? You want to take control of who you are, you take control of your body. Okay?
All right.
Take control of your body. And the next thing is you're going to have to learn a prayer system. You're going to have to learn to make that prayer system truly mean something to you. So that prayer system puts you in your body and stays in your body. And start building a fortification around yourself that still allows you to experience. Do not go vegetarian, period. You will fuck yourself up. Okay? And this is specific for him. So all you vegetarians out there that are mad, you don't know the situation this guy's in. You need protein every day. You can't starve yourself of protein. All right, brother, I got to let you go and move on to the next caller. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Okey-dokey. Let's see. Nia Andrews.
Nia, are you there?
Yes,
How you doing today? Where are you calling from?
from Southern California.
Southern California. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Thank you so much for taking me. I just wrote in the chat, I wanted to ask about my son and the advice you were just giving to the young man before.
Uh-huh.
But first, wait, let me backtrack. How are you? So
I'm doing pretty.
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
on.
I'm doing pretty good. This is my week off where I'm not doing sessions and I'm still doing all my other business work.
Okay, because there was a time where you kind of laid out how intense your schedule is. And I was just like, when does this man take a break? When do you get Andrew time? How do you get
My
Andrew-
weekends.
Okay, because we need you to look after yourself.
Oh, I am. My weekends are my weekends. The current challenge is making that weekend uniquely fun and effective for myself. I don't always plan well.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have such a structured rest of the week, and being unstructured for 2 days is its own benefit.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice, at least for me, I just like to do nothing. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything.
Right, but that do nothing is still achieving something.
True. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't end up doing nothing. It's that I sometimes I just do too many one things.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just let myself, go by the flow. It has been cold and rainy where I'm at for a while. We had some snow, and I've adjusted to the cold temperatures really well. And I was surprised about that. So I find myself doing late night walks now, like when it's the coldest.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, good to hear that you're okay. I've been wondering that ever since you laid your schedule out. So thank you for sharing.
It's all right.
Taking my question. I have a couple. I'll ask this one first about my son. That's okay.
Go ahead. Sure.
So my son will be 14 this month. He's going through what I thought was an awakening, and what I'm seeing is he's gone down the young conspiracy theorist YouTube rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
And so it's influencing some really positive behaviors. He wants to meditate every day. He asked me what a chakra was. I then replied, do you know who your mother is? Like, come on, bro. And now he's vegan, and he's the body type, from what I understand, that really thrives with animal proteins.
Uh-huh.
And he's not prioritizing getting his protein, and he's really active. He's a skater.
Uh-huh.
And his whole thing is, I got to prepare for the solstice. He's of that ilk right now that thinks the world's going to blow up or something during the solstice. It's not blow up, but I don't understand.
All the other prediction of something's going to happen that day.
Yeah, so he's like, I've got to eat alkaline, and I can't have animals in my body until after December 21st, if I'm even still here. I'm like, oh my God.
So why don't you do this and bet him $100 that there'll be December 22nd and nothing will happen on December 21st.
I think, you know what?
No, actually put money up and make him sign it as a prediction. All right? Because there can be consequences for learning here when done correctly.
Okay.
Okay? I assure you, December 22nd will happen.
I
And
know.
that
And
$100 will be yours.
I
But that
hope
is
something.
that's a learning opportunity for him.
So his
Okay.
thing is, he's like, I hope something happens. If it doesn't, he just wants to prepare it. Somebody, Nikki B in the chat, yes, he's a type O. So he needs meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very stubborn. If you have any other like advice for how to navigate raising a very headstrong.
How long's he been vegan for?
It's only been a couple months. And he eased into it. He was eating eggs. And now
Okay. Is he cooking his own food?
we do it together. I come in at times because I get nervous when I see he'll just eat chips and guacamole if he had
So he's not really being a vegan. He's just pretending.
he's not eating meat.
Okay. But if you weren't there, what would he be eating?
Exactly. That's why
Okay. You're even stop enabling him.
I just don't want to see him go to the skate park every day and like pass out.
Oh my God. Come on. A little over mothering there. You're gonna put his name in his underwear too?
No, but I'm cooking and eating too. So, sometimes what am I gonna do?
Stop enabling.
That's enabling? Just sharing
That's
food?
enabling. No. He is making you make a second meal solely for him.
No, I'm not doing that.
But you are.
I am not. I'm not doing that. I've been saying this is what I'm making. You can have some. This is the thing. He has his own money right now. So he'll just go to Whole Foods and get,
Then he can spend all his money on Whole Foods.
Yeah, he's gonna blow his money on snacks.
It's all right. It's a life lesson here.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, life lesson for you and a life lesson for him. And what's the lesson at the end? Eat your damn protein. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the perfect argument. Ask him, are you going to eat 9 pounds of nuts a week? Are you going to eat 3 pounds of walnuts a week on top of your other nuts and all the other stuff, pounds of it? The answer is no, you're not. But that's what you need to complete your high levels of protein.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And until you want to educate yourself, like the 1.5 billion Indians out there have learned how to eat vegetarian and get their protein. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. You're going to be a good vegetarian or a bad vegetarian.
These are the conversations I have with him. But a wise person once said to me, parents cannot mentor.
Well, then you have to learn the power of the refrigerator door propaganda piece.
Okay. Tell me more. What?
Eat your protein. Have you got your 40 grams of protein? And start measuring it. So it's straight up in his face. You had 11 grams of protein today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Again, he just needs to learn to be a good vegan. And he's 14. He's not disciplined there yet.
No.
And what can you get to teach him is the discipline that he's got to be a lot more interactive with his food and not be siphoning off of whatever you're creating.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's spending more time with me instead of his dad because he knows I eat well.
Okay.
So, I'm juicing and I'm doing the smoothies and we eat really well. Even when he's snacking, it's still pretty healthy snacks, but it's unhealthy to have an unbalanced diet.
Absolutely, especially in a growing child. Right. Do you like Vietnamese pho soups?
There is an amazing vegan Vietnamese spot up the street from my house. It's like in the top 100 Yelp in the country.
I know what you're talking about. I've been having my pho journey, my reinitiation to pho. Robert and I were talking about a restaurant that we would regularly go to when we were back in Washington State, called the Lemongrass, and we'd get these like 2-gallon bowls of perfect pho for the whole table with all the stuff in it. See if he'll switch to that. And it'll help on his snacking because you can throw all the other vegetables in at a time to help control the snacking. So it's really glass noodles, which gives him some carbs and gives him some protein at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'll try that.
And again, you've got to explain the math of pho to him.
Like it's vegan, so they use a lot of soy, and I don't know how great soy is for boys.
It's not. And he knows it. Whenever you're monoprotein, where you're having various different selections of protein, which are just like soy and et cetera, you're going to not have an internal gut genome to help break down other foods, and therefore your immune system's not going to be complete.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the whole point of gut immune system, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, you don't want to challenge the ideology of the veganism. You want to challenge the practicality of it.
Right. That's how I try to appeal to him, and it makes me so bratty. I'm like, do you know?
No, it doesn't make you bratty. Okay, how many times you heard me say it on this show?
Say what?
Talking about the vegans that are bad vegans.
Oh yeah, there's so many. I mean, I know quite a few. It's like just because you're avoiding animals, but then how are you sourcing other
your protein, right?
Yeah, or how things are made.
Right. And again, you can be a good vegan. There's 1.5 billion Indians that live vegetarian every day for 100,000 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, eat spice, dummy.
Right.
Okay. So many of them have the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant vegan idea, where it's boiled vegetable broths and salads, and that's all you can have.
No, I love flavor, and I love food. So.
Me too.
Yeah, eating is fun. Can I shift gears and ask another question?
Sure.
So this is okay. Let me not judge myself. I'm gonna say this is a bratty question. So when I was younger, I'm 40 now. When I was about 20-ish, I had my first. Well, I had an experience with a substance, and it opened a channel at that time. And basically, I tapped into some aspect of myself that basically sculpted myself having the experience for using the substance to access it.
That's a very common experience.
Right. So for my first time, I was going in and out of it like, oh my gosh, are you guys seeing this? And then we'll go right back in and, saying you need to do your work to get here on your own. You can do that. So here I am 20 years later, and I've seen, I have got a lot of very spiritually disciplined friends, people who have had awakenings well after me. And I just feel like I'm not in the same space. I'm not. I've progressed and developed a lot, but I just feel like whatever gifts that I was supposed to be able to access according to that part of me that was scolding myself has not come online. And I feel like such a spiritual flunky, and it's really irritating. And I don't
thank you for having such honest truth, spiritual flunky.
That's how it feels.
You're not a flunky. You're a D+ student. Let's make a difference.
Yeah.
D+ is still graduating, right?
Yeah, I used to say D's get degrees in my I'm so over it.
Okay. So now that we admit you haven't failed, what have you learned?
I've developed a lot of discernment that veered me off. Well, I can't say veered me off path. It was part of my journey. I get some information through my dreams. I'm a dreamer. Sometimes I don't understand them. I've learned that I have to change up the tools that I'm grabbing from the toolbox from time to time. Sometimes one practice works. Sometimes it doesn't. So instead of getting frustrated, just stay the course, but try something else. It helps for me to have attitude even when I'm frustrated, and to be kind with wherever I'm at in my process.
So what kind of job do you do?
I work at a record label. I'm an artist, a singer, but I've not been doing that for work in the pandemic, really for the last 2 years now. So I work at a record label now, and work with artists.
Okay. And how is the pandemic affecting your job?
It's really intensified my role because I work in a content department. So these artists can't travel, they can't tour. So they're sitting at home, tearing their hair out, and they want to stay relevant. So they're wanting to make a lot of content, which has really intensified my schedule. On one hand, this time last year, I was so frustrated because I'm like, I'm an artist. I don't want to be in this office, but
and that's why you're not succeeding at your spiritual stuff. The artist of yourself is being spent on everyone else.
Yeah, and I'm like, I really surrendered this year because the frustration wasn't helping. But I'm like, let me give thanks that I have a job, that I can support myself and my son as a single mom. Just newly divorced, like in all of this transition, how can I bring some buoyancy or levity to it? So embracing and surrendering the role just kind of coincided with it getting busier and busier. And I've been looking for other jobs that pay more, where I can do less, and really just trying to affirm that work is fulfilling and I have plenty of time for me. But
so let me understand your job a little bit more.
Okay.
So you help them create the content or give technical aspects. So what is your actual role there?
So I am the person, I basically, I help the artists make their music videos.
Okay.
I'm really a bit nerdy about that. It's really fun to me. I feel like it's a high service to bring beauty into
So do you do like table reads? Like do you
No, because these are artists. So that I basically match make the artists with the directors.
Okay. Now I understand. You're the matchmaker side of it. And do you have any
the process?
And you are assigned a series of clientele on a list from your higher ups?
Yeah, I do the music videos for a label group. So for about 4 or 5 labels, and I'm the only one with that role. So okay. I'm pretty overworked.
I understand your role now.
Yeah.
So do you have an assistant?
No.
Will they let you have an assistant?
They are so broke, or they pretend that they are. So we've talked about it, and just they're asking me how I want to grow in my role and how
the answer is, if they'll pay half for it, you'll double your money for them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see yourself as the matchmaker. They go nowhere if you're gone, right? Who takes over that job?
They'll just find somebody else.
How long will it take for them to have the personal contacts and the relationships that you already do?
I don't know.
Come on. That's a huge part of the job.
It is. I know it is. I mean, I'm like.
So whether they're broke or not, listen to what I'm saying. Ask them to pay for half of the assistant, and the other half will come out of you. This will then give you time to do plenty of other things and make more effective money. And ask for a performance-based. If I can turn out cash and products, you give me a bonus.
Wait, so are you saying that getting a half of me, so I'm working there part-time?
Yeah, I'll give you an assistant that will make phone calls for you and be the second you as a voice that can make more phone calls and get more product out, finished, recorded, done.
Yeah, that is so much of my role is problem solving, and I just don't know if an assistant.
You can train someone to be a problem solver. That's the whole point. That's what your assistant's going to be. You're excess problem solver when you got 19 problems in the day. Right now, you can't leave that job and be comfortable.
Yeah, it freaking sucks.
Okay.
It eats up so much energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got to look at who are the real superstars in my line. What can I do to make a superstar hit now? Maybe I need to have a creative meeting with some of them and have a collection of them come together and do a COVID, pay the starving people COVID thing, all the people that don't have food, and do us artists from behind the scenes. Okay. It's like an MTV, not MTV Live, whatever they did, when MTV did all the old bands.
I don't remember.
So basically it'd be a stage with fucking social distancing. It'd be like 12 people in the audience. Okay. And the best band from the best band from the best band doing an aid to the people suffering from COVID, putting food on the tables for all those people that don't have jobs.
That's an interesting concept. Interesting idea.
You've got your Miss Problem Solver.
Yeah.
And this could all be done online. Come on. So you only need one sound stage and unpack and undo the one sound set to the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that I just need more time.
No, you need time management. That's why you need the assistant, so that you can think these bigger ideas with what's in front of you.
That's what's giving me the low grade right now.
That's what's giving you the low grade. And then your effort turns into a B+ right away. You go from a D- to a B+. Because you will learn to delegate authority and train that person how to do the damn job. Okay. You also got to talk to the management and say, if I'm going to pay for half of them when they come on, they're going to stay under me. And if you want me to train more people to do this, pay me, bitches.
I mean, what they're paying me, I can't even imagine making half of that. Like, they're already, oof.
Like all the other groups out there, they're all hurting.
Yeah, I hurt for a long time pre-pandemic. It's nice to hurt a little less, I didn't complain. I just stood my poor ass on. Yeah.
With this little, pandemic scenario, and you wanted to do a band, this is where you can solo too, feature your music.
I'm not signed to that label. I mean, and they flat out been like, well, if you didn't make it by now, then they just are happy to have me sort my creativity into other artists at their label. And these artists are kind of shit.
Yes, they are. They're very vampiristic.
Yeah, so they're looking at me like, those cartoons when you see the steak, the person becomes the steak.
Yep.
Hard eyes.
Okay. You don't need a label in reality.
I know. To me, this is just my job. I'm trying to not invest as much and just be thankful for the job. Actually spoke to you earlier in the pandemic, and that was your advice.
I remember talking to you. Yeah, I remember.
You're like, it's just a job.
Yeah, it's just a job.
Yeah.
Identity stuck into it. That's what's wrong. That's how you claim your identity back with an assistant.
Yeah.
Can you really go and find another job right now in the pandemic that's going to give you the security?
Yeah, it's not looking like, because I did try. I did try.
The answer is no.
Right.
So you got to stick with what you got, and you got to learn how to hustle their side. Hustle the hustlers. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, darling. Thanks a lot for calling in.
For your time.
You're welcome. All right, Wilbert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Look, Ma'ata, you're next.
Whatever Robert said. Are you there?
I'm here and it's Ma'ata, yes.
Mahata. All right, where are you calling from?
Big Island of Hawaii.
Big Island of Hawaii. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
First of all, I'd love to hear some DJing going on because I go to Ecstatic Dance down in Puna.
Ooh.
That was a great show, by the way. But what I want to talk about is I have a little brother. I've got, I'm the oldest of 14 kids.
Wow.
And he hears voices and he was forcibly taken to a hospital. I'm just wondering, like, could that be from a prior thing of having taken some drugs when he lived in Oregon as a teenager? He was basically a zombie for about a week. And now he's 30 something and can't live on his own. And I'm just wondering, like, what could be plaguing him?
So how old was he when he took the drugs? Or do you even know if he actually took the drugs or not?
He did take some drugs. It was some sort of powder or something. I don't know what it was because I'm not into that. I'm thinking it may be oxy. I don't know. But he was about 16 or 17.
But that would have been 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't have been oxy at that point. People would have been smoking it like that. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea. Whatever it was. Pharmaceuticals.
So there are a lot of dissociative drugs out there that can put people in the deep schizophrenic state immediately. So how long from taking the drugs to he was put into the facility?
He just was put in probably a couple months ago. Our dad died so in July, and it kind of set him off. So it was in July sometime. Now he's living in a kind of an assisted home kind of thing.
What was he diagnosed with?
I think it's schizophrenia.
Yeah. You can't necessarily blame the drugs for that.
Okay.
Did he have a spiritual contract to go down this journey? Absolutely he did. But he also has a spiritual contract to get out of it and overcome it, much like the caller before. He didn't have the internal or external motivational system for him to do that. Far too much of his life was beat himself up about mistakes.
Could be. The youngest of all that 14, that could be.
Well, there's a lot of ancestral stuff there too. And if he had made a journey into self-healing, self-nurturing at an earlier stage there, would he be where he's at? No. Would it be an inevitability? Probably. So do you want to try to help him?
Well, no, I just kind of wanted to know about him. Of course, I'd like to help, but there's really nothing I can do. He's on the mainland and I'm here on an island. But I just kind of wondered about it because he constantly hears voices talking to him.
That's what schizophrenics do. That's what they go through. Sometimes they believe they're radio stations or channels or people that are speaking at them. Some are mean and some are friendly. Some are just overwhelming with information and a variety of things. Some create messages that they take into their paranoia states and get super freaked out about subject matters. And they can't shut their brain off.
Wow.
When they go full dissociative.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that journey of getting out of that, a lot of people have psychological breakdowns for the fact that they've overworked themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, in ways that they didn't realize were causing them harm. Like shame, blame, and guilt are such a destructive force. It's what makes people age early,
right?
And their youth get taken right away.
Kind of sad because this is such a rare and precious life to get here.
But there's billions of us on this world right now.
True too.
And each and every one has their journey that they have to have during the awakening process. And what comes up for them are the things that need to come up for them as a soul.
Yeah. Another question about programming. There was a really interesting article. I'm part Tongan from the Tongan Islands, and the Lord of the Flies book that we all had to read in high school. And my partner was just like blown away when we saw that the real, what that Lord of the Flies was based on was a bunch of kids in Tonga who stole a boat and went off and had to live by themselves. And they were gone for a year. And they made up this system where if someone broke a leg, they were able to heal each other. They had like so many cool experiences and came back and were jailed for stealing the boat, but they turned out to be amazing people. And I just find that that book that we had to read, or many of the books that we had to read in school, has really altered what can be our reality. And I hear you talk about it. I'm just really, it's more of a comment of thank you for bringing some of that, to light, of illusion versus what really can be as a humanity, and how people can really be compassionate and all that. So
there are many stories like that where people learn to heal in a natural body healing system, where they become in a unity with the land. And they learned how to live mystically interactive with the land.
Right.
Okay. And that is our legacy and birthright to re-experience.
Absolutely.
And, we have modern light workers. Some call themselves shamans, some call themselves magicians, some call themselves healers. All of those labels will come to pass as nothing more than labels that limited us.
Right.
And right now we're in a stage where they're not limiting us. They're giving us the opportunities to explore the unlimited point of view. And when we begin to integrate our life, we must understand the unseen world is a huge part of this right now. Me looking at you, looking at everyone in the camera, and then everyone's background ancestral energies are all interacting here. There's a spiritual contract for this show to happen in the complete blueprint of life. Yeah. And then there are others that it only happens in this timeline or that timeline. Each of our individuated selves are connected to the whole through this network of potentialities. And when we choose to activate internal potentiality, that is the mystical use of courage, even though courage isn't mystical.
I love that. Mystical use of courage. Nice. That's beautiful.
Where we are summoning the will to experience.
Yeah.
Summoning that will to be a part of it. Who's that? You beeping, Robert?
No, that's me. My siblings.
I was gonna say sitar.
Okay.
I tried to unhook it, but yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So with this understanding of mystical courage, what does that create as opportunities for practitioners? The ability to learn how to be you at any given moment.
It's a big thing. Easy to say.
Comes with a lot of responsibility.
I try it here, I try it here, and it's interesting to watch. People just don't understand it. Damn it! I tried to turn that off. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
But yeah, that's what I try to do. We had on Halloween, we had a DJ come in from Pune, and only about 25 people showed up. A lot of people were scared, but it was outside, it's next to the ocean. It's fucking fabulous. It's living life,
That's right. And when you're able to live life in such that unique way and allow those energies into you, there's a great growth that can happen.
Right.
So many people don't allow that in. Like I know people that haven't read a book in 20 years, haven't been to a live band in 25 years.
What?
All they do, right. They don't feel the physical vibrations, and then they no longer can have what I call the unique visceral experience.
Oh, I miss it. I have 7 or 8 books I'm reading in at one time, but the bands, the live music, being out in parties and raves, I miss that.
I don't.
Wow.
I don't. Yeah. I had my fill doing limo driving with that stuff.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, cool. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you so much for all you do. I listen to you as much as I can, and got my revocations printed out, me to do and record. So I'm getting there.
Keep on trucking. You're going to do great.
Great. Thank you so much.
Right. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Aloha.
All right, Robot. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Hey, Matthew T. Signal to unmute.
Matthew, are you there?
Hey.
Hi. Where are you calling from today?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I I appreciate your long road to common sense. Not your long road, but talking about everybody taking a long road to common sense, or most of the people listening or participating seem to be doing that if they're and it's working. For me, it's things are moving. I actually this feeling of perpetually feeling on the verge is being dismantled, and but there's still like hangups and traps and tricks, and I keep getting pulled into I guess I'm getting pulled back into patterns and really trying to take responsibility, but then still wondering about parasite entity, things from the past, family. And so I'm trying to maintain a balance about that. But I guess I would like to know about my connection with my mother's heritage.
Why is your mother's heritage so important right now?
It was when she passed away 3 years ago. It was a real paradigm shifter. It felt like one of the first major opportunities to turn things that would potentially be considered difficult into a blessing, and then also really opened me up to the idea of karmic patterns coming to an end potentially within generations. Just a darkness that's doesn't that I don't really identify with, but it still seems to be I guess in my blood.
There's just something that doesn't sit right with the taste of this conversation. How did she pass?
Cirrhosis
of the liver.
Yes.
Heavy drinker.
Yeah, I would say more of a dark drinker. She was drinking out of worry, stress, and lack of self-love. She wasn't, yes, she drank enough to destroy her liver, but I believe it was how she was drinking.
No, you're deluding yourself there.
Okay.
I'm going to try not to roast you here, and it's a terminology that comes up here, but every now and then the flames of truth have to be acknowledged here. When your mother was going through the passing journey, you way over connected to her journey, and you've taken on some of her issues right now. And you're trying to define her lack of awareness of her stuff, and you're trying to solve it through your own DNA lineage. And you have a different purpose. This may be your opening into some form of mystical experiences, but it's not what's going to teach you the greater truths.
Good. I'm here.
You got to let go of her. And all of the objects in which you defend her drinking, cirrhosis of the liver means they drank like a fish all day, every day for decades in a row. You have to realize that.
Yeah, I definitely am not defending her honor in that regard.
But you're defending her in a way for you to ask a question, which is still a delusion.
Yeah.
So for me, the greatest thing you can do right now is purging your mother's living frequency and things she never finished out of your journey. All of these subject matters that you think are going to give you more awareness of yourself. You can learn about ancestral lineages without identifying to your mother or your father. You can learn all about that stuff. Do you really need to? You already know you're in a time of profound change, and that whatever left when she passed on isn't going to come back unless you bring it back. And that moving on with your life is far more important, and discovering your personal spiritual journey in this world. And your mother can be a different form of a teacher now that she's passed on, into a different form of truth. This hard for you to take on?
Well, No, and yes. I mean, I'm open. I'm open to it. There's nothing.
What's the hard part?
The hard part is, I guess fear of not being fully alive and appreciating things in the present, and continually getting, trapped into like distraction after distraction after distraction.
All right, but that's separate. That's separate. So don't intermix the subject matters.
Okay.
Again, you taking on your mother's energies and mixing all of her subjects together so she could never get through any one of them.
I guess that the only way that's for me as part of the subject matter is that I think that's kind of how that's how her life is unfortunately perceived by me, is kind of
don't say unfortunately, it's your truth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's your truth. Okay. She's in the infinite form, learning the mistakes of her life now. Finding time to forgive as part of your spiritual journey, but understanding you're not going to forget. Those are your memories, good, bad, and indifferent. You have your own unique spiritual purpose, and you're at a time when you're in awakening, and you got to get out there and get some more non-mom based spiritual experience. Okay? Go do some sweat lodges if you can find any Native American groups that are open to that. Don't do medicine. Medicine's not for you in this particular journey.
What do you mean, plant medicine?
Yeah, nothing like ayahuasca or maybe some cannabis.
I had a in the spring, right when things locked down, I did a 5-gram psilocybin trip, and that definitely was on the verge of not recommended.
Well, 5 grams is stupid, so you should never be doing that amount. Those are those hero dose idiots that people always talk about, and they end up fucking everyone up. 1.5 grams is more than enough. It'll last you 12, 15 hours.
Yeah, I definitely interacted with an entity.
Yep. And you had no control over what was going on. And that was that ancestral lineage coming through. When you can begin starting the daily practice that we talk about in the show, fortifying your reality, learning to master your reality daily, learning how to use that 90 minutes of A+ effort a day to have a variety of things that are constantly weaving new energies into your bubble of reality. That's the magically practitioner you, who then after a few months of doing it will understand the strategy long term. Until such a time you've elevated your frequency enough that these low density subjects that keep you locked in the trap scenarios or trap repetition, they won't be a part of your reality anymore, because you will have raised your frequency far beyond their capacity to even be connected to you.
Yeah, I've been feeling that. I've been feeling that power, the reclamation of that. Can I ask you about my body?
Sure.
A constant presence in my throat. And
you took that on from your mother.
Okay. But especially this year. And then it's as if like the very beginnings of a sore throat, but it just never. Mm-hmm. And then I lost a lot of weight this year.
Mm-hmm.
And my dreams are super mundane. And
because your mother's haunting you, your mother's haunting you and stealing life force from you right now, trying to stay alive because you haven't let go of her.
Artifacts, not artifacts, but I have a couple of objects that are connected to her. Do you recommend maybe getting rid of those?
If they're valuable, sell them. If they're not, get rid of them.
Even if they came to me in a beautiful way?
What are they?
Well, have you ever heard of an Argonaut?
Yep.
So like a completely intact Argonaut shell washed up onto the beach in Miami, which I happened to be exactly 1 year in the exact spot from when I had found out that she was deathly ill and had to leave. And I was working down there. I went back, and I had reclaimed from her a what's the fossil spiral shell? The ammonite.
Mm-hmm.
I had given her an ammonite, had taken that back, and after she passed, and then this fully intact Argonaut, this octopus's shell washed up on the beach. And so those two, it's just two things that are very connected.
But they have portals into her energy, into the fact that her morning energy is still stuck in you, and she hasn't figured out how to pass on yet. And the loss of weight is entity possession. She's stealing your life force. But she was doing that before she died. She's doing that to everyone around her, just at an unseen level.
Yep, there it is. That's a beautiful. It weighs like a gram. It's so light and delicate.
You can keep that, but you have to separate the memories. Okay. You got to begin cutting the cords to your mother and passing her over as a spirit, not allowing her to be in your presence anymore.
It's funny that I brought that up. I didn't even intend to be that as a question. I feel like I have much that it's fun. Yeah, it's interesting to find this as it's almost as if it like blurted out of my mouth. I don't actually really think that I have, except for that there's like a stuckness, a sadness that I can't like express or truly let go of.
Mm-hmm. That's why you got to start getting all the connective stuff that from there out of your daily sight. Let them pass over into deep memory, into the state of forgetting.
Great.
Okay.
Is there
what kind of job do you do?
I work with installation of art exhibitions, which has been pretty shut down.
Okay. We talked before.
No, actually.
I talked to somebody else that was doing an art installer at museums. All right. Just give me a second to process here.
Thank you.
The journey of cutting your cords to your mother is also going to be about you being in your body 100% instead of 75%.
That's funny because I just wrote down 80% of blame is lame.
There you go. And learning to be in your body is going to be one of those mystical challenges for you. Summoning the mystical might of courage to do something non-mystical, such as being in your body and allowing yourself to emotionally feel your own emotions, not the dirty light from all the other people's energies that you've absorbed.
Yeah, I work for some prominent people that one in particular that has a lot of energy around, and it's interesting now that you say that about the mother that I'm potentially just prone to sacrificing in some way, or I don't know if that's the right way to put it,
but that's still energy from your mother, even guiding you to look at that subject matter, whether they're your clients or not. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Life is going to be really different from you when you really ready to make the leap into being your own being without your mother's energy interfering with you anymore.
And you really think that that's the main thing is the mother's energy?
She's a ghost. She doesn't want to pass over. She's stuck on you and a variety of other people she's harvesting energy off of. You got to love yourself enough to pass her over. She can't continue to do this like she did in life.
Yeah, I used to call her a martyr.
Yeah. Reclaim your body back from her and say no more. No more.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Robert, let's bring Monty on next.
Hey, let's see, Monty, where are you? There you are.
Monty.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, quite weak.
Just a little quiet of a week.
Let me just say, God bless voter fraud.
So last Friday, we had our back-to-back comedy show where we put up a whole bunch of predictions and not many of them came true, did they?
No. I actually thought about because I knew you'll probably bring me on. So do you want to go through it now or should we wait 24 hours? Because
we could wait
24 hours.
We could wait 24 hours. Let's just give them a sample.
Oh, okay. Well, the Queen didn't invade America and take the colonies back. We'll share that one. So that didn't happen.
The vote asteroid didn't work.
No. Or not yet. It could be late. I still think it's Zeus with a hockey stick near the asteroid belt. Just take that, mortals, whack.
It's not over yet. Somebody in the chat room saying there's still a chance for Zeus to come in. He's lowering in the odds there.
Yeah, he's getting better at it. He's practicing he's been doing very well over the last 12 months. From the conspiracy world, though, they're all freaking out where it's all over. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. We've lived through, in the last 120 years, we've lived through the Spanish flu, World War I, World War II.
Reconstruction.
Yeah. It just, 9/11, everything else like that. I think that's kind of the theme you have when, it's the end of the world. It's like, sure, whatever. We'll still be here afterwards.
We'll still be here afterwards, paying the bills and the taxes.
Yeah. Like the Q phenomenon where it's like, we'll just add that to lists like Drake and Nasara and Jasara and all that stuff. And,
Q has lost so much of its own stock and capacity that it will be a Nasara Jasara Drake level thing in a few years.
I just had an image of like further down the timeline, there's two guys arguing like, didn't work, Fred, you twat. What are you doing?
And then 5 years from now or 7 years from now, the awakening still won't have started. It'll be Q and Drake on a podcast.
Yeah, med beds.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about med beds and Jasara and Nasara.
Yeah, one personal sort of revelation that I've had is that it is the awakening, and we're still going to be doing this in a decade. But no, sort of, because I think is that society's whole thing about instant gratification, where it's like there's going to be a solar flash on the solstice, and we're all going to 5D, and no, because that's going to be the next one for a lot of light workers. 5D people for all
the opium smokers. They're going to raise the price of your opium hit. Okay? Yeah. The value of opium has gone up, so you're going to pay a lot more for your bag of opium.
Yeah. Hey, you got any more of that opium, man? Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly. That, you're gonna be at $100 bag of opium pretty soon.
Yeah. If I remember it when I do my roundtable Wednesdays 2 a.m. Revolution Radio. Just had to slip that in there. Taking a hit of opium and watching the fear porn, so you get that balance.
Yes, that's a right way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they're talking about fear porn again. Oh, better have a micro dose of opium and balance it out there.
Exactly.
Just apart from just we'll be talking about the election and just the last 7 days, and we're going to have fun. The Schumann resonance spiked and went quiet, then really spiked. Mercury went direct Tuesday and Wednesday, depending where you're on the planet. And it's because it's. Have you noticed no one's caught coronavirus in the last 3 daes?
Oh, we had no. We had 100,000 cases over the last few days. That's what's being told to us here.
Okay. I'm not aware of that because it's if you do the thing how they always they run with a story into the ground in
Yes, and they're
24
doing.
hours.
This was all prepared before the election.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is okay? Here's a question for you.
The funnest part is Trump has been silent since 2:00 in the morning Tuesday night, and he was supposed to come out at 6:30 and do a speech, and I don't know if he did or not. But that's
No, his
the
people did.
His people did. He didn't actually come out.
No. Rudy
This is the longest he's ever gone without speaking. If there is a coup d'etat going on, now is the time that it's going on.
But just on a basic level of look at this. It's like, what's the distraction? What is happening somewhere else that they don't want us to find out, type thing? Because I know Wales was already in lockdown, but UK went into lockdown on November the 5th.
Yep.
And if you know your history, that's Guy Fawkes Day. And like, here's a question for you: is the Dark or League of Dark trying to be caught because they're over the whole game that's playing out on Earth? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, they didn't wake up on that. Let's just go a little bit further. No, they're still asleep. Let's go a bit further. Oh, for God's sake, let's just show them everything. They're not waking up. Oh.
So it appears people in the chat room saying he did come out and speak. I don't know. I've been on the radio. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. I can only imagine what he's going to be saying. Even if he did come out, Saddam Hussein did that plenty of times as the tanks were invading Baghdad. Okay.
Yeah. Well, also, I think after the energetic letdown of the election, where it was like, Nicole Arbour, who's a brilliant comedian, she said the one good thing about election night is there's protesters wandering the streets, wondering why who to be angry at. Because it was like, it was this whole, because most of life is build, tension, and release, and the tension was released, but it was like a whimper instead of a bang. It's like,
it's a bad season. It's a bad season ending before the global narrative tries to change seasons or slip us a new show with new characters.
Yeah, and I've told you once, and I'll tell you again. They fired the good writers, and we're just going to get low-level writers was like, and then something happens.
Right, and then you'll bring out a new boy face and a new girl face, and things will be fine.
Yeah, we'll add this new character called Rose, and who doesn't fit into the Star Wars universe, but she's awesome.
Exactly.
The one time I agreed with Ryan Johnson. Yes, you are correct. She doesn't fit in that universe at all.
So, if anything's going on, that stuff's going on in the background now. Will we be present to it or be shown to it? I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it. We'll find out what the global narrative is, what it's going to switch to in the next couple of days.
Well, is that what's happening? They're having a season break and they're trying to start up a new chapter or episode in the narrative, because it sort of felt like that. Because I was on air and we streamed Trump's speech live, and then where Revolution Radio did sort of almost 16-hour election special because nothing was resolved. So it was
exactly
like, what's going on? But there was myself and Cortec, who's in Sydney. We're on air at the time, and we realized it was like 8 a.m. in New York, and we're thinking, why hasn't anyone said anything? It was really quiet, like the eye of the storm. You didn't have the EAOCs or Ted Cruz or anyone, or even the media. It just went, shh, quiet now. And it's like, okay, everyone huddle in.
It's like they did a really bad Francis Ford Coppola ending.
It's like, well, you got an ending, but it wasn't the ending you were looking for. But it was like,
and now welcome to season 4. What happened to season 3? Don't worry about that.
Yes, it's going to be a courtroom drama. For the rest of
exactly.
But it was really interesting to see that that energy sort of drop off, and like, this is kind of weird, which just shows that there has been that shift, because 2 years of election and then the ending's like, we're pausing it so we can figure this stuff out. Oh, it's still, and Alex Jones said it right. 97 days of hell, and hell isn't all about burning to death in the fires.
Well, it's down to 95 days now.
It could be it could be sitting in a dentist waiting room reading magazines from 1953 for 8 months. Oh, it's the same bloody book.
So what I want to touch on for here is right now, I think they're still down to Pennsylvania. And part of our predictions were that some of these were going to go to the court. So right now, we're pretty sure Pennsylvania will go to the court. Trump is already trying to make claims, and the courts are rejecting himself what he's doing left and right. So if it comes down to Pennsylvania and Arizona, I believe, that is what Biden will challenge. Well, they're going to challenge both, but Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Wisconsin, I think.
Wisconsin, and it was weird. I watched the Steven Crowder stream, and at the start, before the votes were coming in, he basically said, okay, these 6 and 7 states are going to be pivotal in what happens, and he was correct because he just named them all, and strangely enough, all Democratic governors, and we'll get into it tomorrow in a more comedic way because it's so ridiculous. There's muggles, and I say that with love. Muggles are going, like a lot of people from outside the United States are going, America, there's banana republics shaking their heads at you right now.
Exactly. That's why I said America's going to get laughed at left and right.
Yeah.
Relentlessly laugh at us.
I had a flash of anger because I could see the criminality of what was going on. And then I sort of wasn't taking a side, but took a step back and just watched the shit show unfold. And
I saw a cartoon. I was on Facebook, and that it was Trump yelling, "Give me the nuclear football!" And one of his aides hands him a football with an atomic sign on
it. It's just funny. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to have a good conversation with you, but not sort of blow our load with all the comedy for tomorrow. Because
don't worry, we can blow a little bit of a load.
Well, yeah,
we'll go to second base.
Hey, baby, do you want another drink? No, Sean. What do you mean, Sean? I sometimes aren't funny. I'm told. Where apparently Biden has got more votes from the African Americans than Obama did. That's believable.
Yes. And then the Spanish vote for Trump. What was that all about?
Yeah, it was like there's so many like. What? It's not just one or two things. It's
quite a few. Oh, exactly.
It's like what the someone mentioned in the chat about the watermark things where that seems just to be a story that's out there, but no one can link it to any.
Well, first thing first, not all of the ballots are printed in one place. They're individually subcontract by each state.
Yeah,
but that's not going to happen. There's no watermark in all of them.
Yeah. Razorfist pointed out like they don't have to, they don't have the fake votes don't have the watermarks. Like, why would people at a polling station with blank votes with watermarks do it? Yeah, they'll just use them.
Exactly. That's why so many of these conspiracies are just are meant for idiots to fall victim to.
Yeah, it just whatever is put out there, but it's from the conspiracy world. It's all over, man. Game over.
Yes, all of your conspiracies are coming to an end. You have to come up with new ones now because they all got proven.
Well, yes and no, because there's going to be an element of they think that Biden's going to let China walk into the United States type thing. And, there'll be death camps and re-education camps and heavy censorship and everything else like that. And I'm thinking that's a possibility. It's not probable.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
There'll be no Americans buying any of the Chinese shit.
Yeah. It's like, there'll be a civil war. I'm like, really? Have you seen the left? They're all spindly on meth. Like the right who have guns. If there's a civil war today, it would be over in an afternoon. Because I've always said, like, if the right were gun-toting, mad, insane Americans, they would have had a revolution in 1923. Because have you noticed that's one thing as well where if you take the narrative that Trump's been screwed out of he's losing for whatever reason, why aren't the right burning down cities? Because you imagine if it flipped, like Biden lost,
because
half
it
of them.
still came down to agent provocateurs. That's why humanity wasn't out marching. The paid provocateurs were.
Yeah,
Come on.
but still, but where are they then? Or what? So Trump doesn't have enough money to pay for them to burn stuff down now?
No, they've done their part. Trump's people are to defend against that. That's what they've been programmed for. There will be some offenders that come up and do some weird ass stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of them now, the Antifa and
all both sides are going to do it. What are you talking about? What after a revolution? What do you do with your revolutionaries? You put them in jail or kill them. So they're gonna sort themselves out.
Yes, bring me your intellectualists and artists first.
Exactly. All right, so they're gonna sort themselves out.
Okay, I don't love Trump. I hate Biden. There is a difference. But that was the election as well. It's you had a choice: Trump or not Trump.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Greater of two evils. Some people chose I'd rather have the greater of two evils. Let's end this shit.
Well, see, you know a little bit more than people. Like we know the whole system's completely crap. That's one question that I had. How can we show to people that if it's the easy way of saying we have to remove government basically or reform government. Most people think if you're, the idea of government, you get rid of that because they're so used to giving consent to the government and there's a control structure, be it good or bad.
So if you
they will just freak out because it's like, what you mean? You'll be complete anarchy, lawlessness, and it's
Our existing government can work just fine if you take the corruption out of it. And we can have a very enlightened society and very enlightened corporate communities that'll do the right thing if we take the corruption out of it.
Yeah. So it's basically a battle against corruption.
Yes, which has always been the battle of corruption. What is corruption doing? Corrupting the truth. To the point people have alternate facts.
Yeah, and at the point, and they're getting to the point now where they're not hiding the corruption, where you can actually, like, I think it was in Michigan, they had a polling station where they're counting votes, and they put up boards so the general public couldn't see. Like, what? Yeah, nothing sus. There's so many of those things that's going on. It's very interesting.
Well, Monty, we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for our ongoing comedy show, Post-Election Post-Mortem Inspection. Why don't you give people a way to get a hold of you?
I am on Facebook as Monty Dean, on Twitter as @RealMontyDean, on Instagram Monty.Dean, and my YouTube channel is A Wafer Thin Entertainment.
And you guys know who I am. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here. All right, everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take us away, Robert.